President Volodymyr Zelenskyy demands more help during a call with members of Congress today. New York Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis joins us now. She was on that call with President Zelenskyy earlier. Give us your impressions of the man and the situation there, Congresswoman.
Well, obviously, he's an extraordinary leader, standing with his people during this time in their fight for freedom, for sovereignty, and really to protect the entire Western world. A couple of things he asked us for was really quite simple. He wants tougher, crippling economic sanctions on Russia. Some of the ideas we talked about were Visa and MasterCard seizing operations in Russia, which a little while ago they agreed to and announced that they will do. In addition to that, the most favored nation status in terms of trade, which would have an impact on Russia in terms of tariffs and trade. That is something Canada has already done, and he would like to see the United States and EU follow suit. And in addition to that, we talked about, of course, about sanctioning oil and gas, which is a controversial issue here in the United States. I believe that we do need to stop these imports, but we need to ramp up our domestic energy production as well. And then lastly, he talked about the need for more weapons, for more equipments, specifically Stingers, drones, jets. And he made clear that if the United States and NATO were not going to close the skies, then they would like to see the jets. And I think that those Eastern European countries and the EU are in a position to provide those jets. Those are Soviet-style jets that Ukrainians are familiar with flying. And then perhaps the United States could backfill those countries. But I think there was a lot. It was a productive conversation. We're already seeing things happen as a result. And I just applaud him for his bravery and his dedication to his country.
Yeah, he has won really the admiration of the world for his resolve and his calm in the face of this terrible Russian onslaught. His forces are outmanned and outgunned, and yet they are holding their own. Just tell us about his mood. I mean, how did he strike you?
He obviously, as someone who hasn't slept for days, he seemed rather energetic. He seemed very passionate, very convincing. Somebody who made it clear that he's not just fighting for Ukraine, he's fighting for Europe, he's fighting for the Western world. He made it clear that he's concerned also, as we all are, about Russia taking over nuclear power plants. He also gave us an understanding of how the Russians are intruding into these areas, how they are shelling first, they are creating fear among the people, they are ruining the infrastructure, destroying the infrastructure so people can't leave, and then they're bombarding them. And then they're trying to get the local governments to surrender, and that's been their tactic. He also made He also gave us some very sad news that thousands of civilians have been killed. They believe more civilians than military, but that among those are children, dozens of children that they have attacked kindergarten schools, special needs school, and that was incredibly sad for us all to hear. And I don't know if you guys had the footage. I know earlier about an 18-month-old that was killed in the shelling as well. It's just incredibly tragic to see what these people are going through, and we need to do what we can to help them and keep their supply of weapons and equipments in stock.
Vladimir Putin hasn't threatened nuclear war outright, but he always kind of hints that the nuclear button is a possibility. As a member of Congress, is that bluster? How should we respond to those threats?
Well, I think that we need to show strength, and I think that our president needs to show more strength. What has come out of this is that NATO and the United States have shown that we are standing strong together, and I don't think that Vladimir Putin anticipated that. And that is all the more reason why we need to stop him now. Obviously, there are concerns that if he is successful in Ukraine, this can spill into NATO countries or other bordering countries. So it is incredibly important that we do what we can to supply President Zelenskyy and the Ukrainians with the equipment and with the support that they need. I've also urged our UN ambassador to work to remove Russia from the UN Human Rights Council, from the UN Security Council. We need to continue to make them an international pariah.
Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis of New York. Congresswoman, thank you.